Hey everyone, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel, and we are in Queens. We had the Queens release yesterday. I bought a lot of properties, but I didn't get the real special ones I wanted to get. So that's a little disappointing, but I still did get a lot. I think it'll still be a good release for me, but it'll be interesting to see how it progresses, how prices move, the floors move. There's still a lot of properties for sale, a lot you can mint, so that's interesting to see. And we'll see if it does mint out or not here in the next few days or coming weeks, and how that all progresses as well. Now, Upland is a virtual real estate game where you can buy actual, the actual lots that are in real life. You can build on them, rent them, flip them. It can be a lot of fun. The city releases are when Upland opens a new city, and people can go mint them for the first time, often getting properties pretty cheap, can sell them for quite a bit more many times. So Queens was released, and of course we love the likes, comments, shares, all that before I get into it. And I'm a real estate investor as well. So Mark Ferguson, Invest for More, is my real YouTube channel. We're close to 80,000 subscribers there. So if you haven't subscribed there, love to see you hop over there and do that. So Queens was released, and I did very, very well in the stress test. So I'm going to talk about the stress test, how that went, overall properties I bought here, why I bought them, and we'll look at some of the prices and floor prices too to see what's going on. And maybe we'll talk about nodes here too, just to give you an idea of what I want to talk about. The stress test was in Jackson Heights and Woodside. So I minted quite a few properties in Woodside down here, one on Queens, quite a few in the other area. And I was able to sell them and pretty much make about 200,000 UPX on that. And then I made another big chunk of UPX as well in a trade, which is pretty cool. So I minted this property right here and got that on Queens and sold it for 137,000 UPX, so made over 100,000 on that one property. And then someone offered to trade me, and let's see if I can find that trade here. Someone offered me to trade. Yeah, I need to look at that. Anyway, you can see we have been selling properties. I had a property on Ventura Boulevard in Los Angeles that I paid 79,000 UPX for a couple weeks ago. It seemed like a good deal, a pretty big property. And I had it for sale for either 99 or 89,000 UPX. I might have paid less than that. I was still going to make money at the price I had it at. So it was probably less than 79,000 I bought it for. And someone wanted to trade me this property on Queens, which is right here, right next to the one I minted, for that Ventura property. So at first I'm like, where's the catch? What's going on? I ended up doing that, and then I sold that Queens property for, we'll scroll down here to that offer. Not that one. They all say Queen, so it's hard to look for the street name when it all says Queens. That's older. And it's always weird too, because while I'm, focused on Queens and buying properties, and oh nope, that's not. Oh, it's very difficult. There. Oh, that's the one I sold for 137,000. That's the one I minted. Just look for the big price. That's what I'll do. Oh, I sold it for 174.9. So I sold it for 90,000 UPX more than I had my other property for sale for. So that's pretty cool. I wasn't sure why that person did that, but I would gladly accept it. So then we minted a bunch of other properties over here, did quick flips, and made a lot of money on the stress test. I think I've made probably more money in the stress test than I did in the full release so far, which is a little disappointing. But let's see. This is one, I believe I minted this one. Let me see. Oh no, I bought that on the secondary market. I also bought a lot on the secondary market for like 8 to 10,000. Flipped almost all those, made a little bit of money. And then I bought quite a few from 10 to 11,000. Didn't do as well on those. So I probably should have calmed down my buying a little bit there. But I wanted to show you kind of, if you buy a lot of properties in the stress test, it's usually best to sell them as fast as you can. Because like I said, I was selling properties from 12 to 14,000 in Woodside and the other neighborhood. What is it, Jackson Heights? Yeah. And now let's see what that floor is in Woodside. 7 is dropped a bunch. So once the stress test is over and people can't buy, and people can buy everywhere in all of the area, usually those stress test areas really have their floor drop. So that's why my strategy for the stress test is always I try to mint a lot, especially if they're affordable areas, and try to sell them right away. Again, that one's down to 8 because that floor dropped, yeah, from, it hovered around probably 9,500 to 11,000 UPIX before Queens was fully released, and now it's dropped quite a bit. So that's why I try and get all of my properties sold. And I still have some there. And the entire floor of Queens might raise here over time too. That's what kind of happened in each of the other cities. Detroit, LA, started out low and just slowly rose and rose and rose. And then when a city release comes out, they drop back down again. But until that next city release comes out, it should rise. So you can see I still have quite a few properties in Woodside. And then if you saw my opening, I tried to get stuff in Queens, and I don't know if it's my computer or what was going on, but everything was sold. It was gone by the time I tried to mint anything. And I would have loved to get some of these properties along here, but that was not my destiny yesterday. So you can see there's quite a few properties here. I got some properties here, but again, this is Sunnyside, and I was kind of thinking that might be a decent area, but if we look here at prices, their mint price is very low too, 8,900. And so a lot of these I minted for more than that. So they have not been, I minted it for 12,000. So they have not been, super big money makers. And I still can put some of these up for sale. But if the floor is 8,500, even if I'm just above mint price, and making a little bit of money on these, there's not an amazing chance that I'm going to sell many of these being that much higher than floor price. So that's why, it's a good idea to try to mint properties cheap in neighborhoods. And I was just kind of frustrated that I wasn't buying anything. So I'm just like, I just got to mint something. So I did. And we'll see if any of those sell. I don't think, and I bought a big one too, which that's way too expensive. We're going to put that more at like 69.5 and just try and get a little bit of profit there and see what happens. Because that's not a super popular area yet. But if it becomes a collection, then that could change everything. And then I moved into Long Island City and bought properties here. I think I bought 11 or 10 and put quite a few of them up for sale right away, and did sell a lot of them around this $40,000 range. So if we minted it for 18,000, so I was doubling my money there. So that was good. But then this morning I checked on Long Island City, and they're down to 29,000. But that's a small property. 15 size UPIX. What is mine? 16. So I also find after the city release and you mint stuff, it's good to put stuff for sale right away if you want to flip it, because people will be more inclined to want to really get into the buying mode right after the mint if they miss out on it. Whereas if you wait a few days, a lot of times the prices will drop too. So I think I still have, some good properties here. But after that initial rush, the prices have dropped there. I bought some in Astoria. Again, this is not a lot of people mentioned they thought Astoria might do well, either the neighborhood or the street, because there's a street, Astoria, that might be a collection. It's higher, a little higher than those, but I think that might be because some of the mint prices are higher too. So let's see what the mint prices are on the properties I got here and that's always a lot, still for sale or still able to be minted there. 12,000, so not, what did we see here? 14,899. Huge moneymaker here. And if I don't sell them, it's not the end of the world either. I'm making, I minted them, so I'm still making, oops, the yield. I've got that coming in, and then if I do sell them, I make a profit, I have more money, and I can kind of turn that and buy some other stuff because I spent a lot of money yesterday, a whole lot of money. And speaking of that, my net worth is at 9.54 now, so it has been climbing. I bought more UPIX as you know, yesterday during the release. I talked about that. So I'm really close to that 10 million, and hopefully I can do that here during Spark Week, but I really need to sell some more properties. So I'm kind of torn a little bit because a lot of times I'll flip properties before the collections are announced, but I don't have a ton of really good ones like I did in Detroit. I got so many really good properties on Gratiot and Woodward and Brush Park that I knew would be very valuable, and I just didn't get those this time, but I'll keep moving along here. So after going there, I kind of looked around the area, and I went down to this area, the Rockaway Beach area, and was surprised how people weren't minting stuff. There was not much going on as far as this road, because this is a pretty famous road. And so I bought quite a bit down here, but I have not sold anything on Rockaway Beach. And we can kind of hear, if you want to see a street, you can just type it into the address. And then I'll pull up, oh, I want to make sure that says beach, because there's a couple Rockaway roads. 59.9 is the floor, which is kind of low, and you can see I have some here for sale for 89. But the floor was higher again yesterday. The floor was close to 100 right after the release, and I put some properties for sale just above that, but didn't sell them. And looking back on it again, you know, I probably should have put some down at the floor and just sold them there. And so I minted some along Rockaway. These are very interesting properties. Like this one is surrounded by streets, but it is, I don't know what it is. Like an old junkyard that's got like a highway next to it. But it's interesting how it's by itself, just surrounded by streets. And so what did I mint this for? 10,000. So, you know, if I was smart, I would have lowered this price sooner. But I can still put this like on the market for 89. Hopefully mint a bunch of, or hopefully sell it. Really raise my net worth. That one's at 89. See, I was thinking only 6,000 mint though. And I really want to get my net worth raised. So if I can sell some of these I minted for very cheap, for a lot more, that'd be fantastic. And I bought this big old beachfront property, and there's only a couple for sale, and they're all 270, and mine is like 224. But it's just like, you know, that could take a while to sell. Hopefully it does. Just being waterfront on the beach like that, we'll see. So we have those, and then I have, while we're at it, I'm going to lower the price on some of my other ones here. And if you guys want to help me out and buy these properties, that's fantastic too. 99, see that one? Yeah, that one's too much. I need to be more like 69. And yeah, part of me feels like I'm being greedy too. Like, you know, that's 10 times mint, right? That's an amazing return on money. But I see, you know, oh, it could have been 100 yesterday. Well, that ship has sailed. That bridge has sailed. Bridges don't usually sail. So we'll see if this helps any. And again, if I don't sell these, then I'm really gambling that Rockaway Beach Boulevard becomes a collection. Because if it doesn't become a collection, then these might drop down to 15,000 or less for value. So you want to be careful there. And so I also minted quite a few properties just on the outskirts. You can see that of that road because they were pretty cheap. And we can see the floor. Oh, the floor has dropped again. And this is my dilemma too, because part of me is like, should I be buying up these really cheap ones to raise the floor? But then that's why I need more money, because I keep buying stuff to help my own properties. Because that's, you know, 13,000 is a cheap floor. It was higher than that. It was like close to 20 for a while there. That's why my price is there. But again, the prices are slowly dropping after all the excitement settles down. But then again, they might slowly start increasing later this week too. But then again, I want to have more money, so I have more flexibility to do some things. So it's that dilemma. And oh, it looks like, did I sell something? what happened? Oh, yep, I sold one of mine for 11,500. Where is that? I don't know. I'll have to zoom out. Okay. And we'll look at those trades in a second. So I sold quite a few here because I minted some other ones in that area too and put them up for sale. So I did sell quite a bit in that price range. And then here, I just went on a minting crazy spree, minting cheap stuff. And that was a really good plan. And I sold a lot of these too. I wish I would have sold more of them, but there's only so much demand. And I didn't want to like cut my own foot off by dropping my own floor like crazy. But I selling these from 14 to 16,000 UPX, and now you can see the floor has dropped again down to 12 on a lot of these. And then, but still, like even if I sell some of these for 12, minted for 6, right? That's not bad. And so that's kind of the dilemma here of not undercutting yourself, but you also, you know, want to sell some of them and get your money back and build your net worth, especially me, who's trying to get up to that 10 million here before Spark Weeks ends, so I can get my bonus Spark when I do that. I could just put more money into it, but I just put a lot in. So not only did I buy UPX, I bought Spark. So I minted a bunch there, but a lot of those have sold. I've done well with those. Again, if we go to my messages here, is that over here? I'm not sure where exactly that is. But you can see the beach ones are all, those are kind of, yeah, then, what was that one in Queens? That's a good one. San Francisco one randomly sells. That's always kind of weird. Another beach one for 14. Another beach one. Oh, they wanted to trade. Another beach one for 14.9. I offered to purchase a cheap one. I'm glad I didn't do that because prices are lower now. Another beach one for 14.9. Another beach one for 15.9. Oh, those were the Long Island City ones I was selling for 42, 41. Another beach one for 14.9. That's the Queens one. So we have been selling properties for sure, but just Detroit was a lot better so far. I'll say that, and that's not Upland's fault. That was just my getting stuck on Queens Boulevard and not maybe having a different strategy when that didn't work. But that's okay. And then after I did that, and I think after my video ended, I kind of came back to some areas that were super cheap and started minting more properties there too. And just a few, but I like for 5,500, just, man, these are so cheap. And that's about what the floor is right now. So I really, it's like, God, these are so cheap. I think they're going to sell quick. For 4, all the ones I got for 4 was definitely, right, those were good deals. The floor is way above that. But then when I got into 5, I was a little more hesitant. I still bought some, but I think they'll be fine again. Hoping the floor just continues to raise a little bit. And then I just went to some different neighborhoods where there's really cheap stuff. And, you know, some more around 5. There's still a lot available in here around 5 if people want to mint stuff. And then I went just to some other neighborhoods because thinking about nodes and different things. I was looking just at small neighborhoods, interesting neighborhoods. And Holliswood was kind of interesting to me. Or was it No. Oh, I'm in Jamaica Estates. Was I going to buy? Thought I was trying to buy in Holliswood. But anyway, it looks like I bought in Jamaica Estates anyway. Like I went on Chevy Chase Street. I doubt, I mean, that'll be a collection, but we all know who Chevy Chase is. And these were somewhat like some of the cheapest ones in the entire area. So that's why I did that. And then, yeah, that's why those got more expensive. It's a different neighborhood. But I really think I thought I was buying in Holliswood because it's so small and tiny. Just thinking about future nodes, you know, Holliswood, Hollis Hills, like I think a very small neighborhood like Henry Ford, what we're doing in Detroit, is interesting. But the prices are a lot higher for minting. Oh, there's some 12. That's not too bad. So maybe that's not so horrible. What I like to do in this situation, I'm going to send, actually, let's see if this is working. Because this wasn't really working before on xlend.me. That's where I am. Sorry, I didn't tell you guys that. if I go here and go to unlocked and go by mint price, say non-FSA, it's not showing us anything as far as properties available to be minted. Like usually it tells you the mint price, where they're at. So I'm not sure if that'll start working here soon or if I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, so usually that's what I was going by to find unminted properties, but now it's kind of tricky because that's not available. But I can still send my person over here and show you one way to get kind of cheaper mint prices. If you just have them here, and instead of clicking on every single property, and it's nice here because there's no FSAs, as you can see, you click on your guy, click on that little building, and it'll pull up, you know, all the properties that are within reach to buy. There's some 11,000. I wish they were in order of price, but that's okay. 11.6, 11.9. So, you know, I can buy this property right now for 11.6, and maybe it'll be nothing. Maybe this will turn into our next node. Who knows? But that's just kind of how I was finding some of the cheaper properties I could. And then I usually let my explore walkaways and then come back and see if there are any other real cheap ones. But Hollis Hills is small. Jamaica Estates is pretty small. Hollis Wood is pretty small. Jamaica Hills. And then some of these you'll find are all minted out too. Like is this one, there's an FSA left. Oh, it's pretty cheap too. But I think, is this one, yeah. Some of these real small cheap ones are already all minted out. Oh, Kew Gardens is one that had a ton of hype about it. And let me see, what's its floor at? Oh, what's going on? There we go. 28. So it's not that high yet. I actually thought it would be a lot higher. And let me see. I just want to check if Kew Garden Hills is any different. Because there's a lot of hype. Oh, it's way lower. A lot of hype about Kew Gardens beforehand. And from different nodes, and I think some Century City people from that node really wanted to buy in there. And I believe it minted out really fast. But the prices aren't as high as I thought they would be with all the hype it was getting. And then this is Kew Garden Hills right here. I wonder if it's all minted out. No, there's still a lot. Let's see what those 96. Are those all FSA? No, there's a 66. There's some cheap stuff in there. So there's still a lot available to mint, so it might take a while to mint out. But it's affordable prices. It's not crazy prices like LA was. Some areas like Long Island City had expensive prices. There's some other ones like Holliswood had some very expensive prices, but a lot of them are not. So that's good. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to buy cheap. I think that's good. I think the floor will keep raising. And then, yeah, I just was kind of looking at different areas for a node. There's a lot going on in Queens. So it's kind of like, man, so much going on. Glen Oaks is one, I think, that minted out right away. So I wonder if that one's got a high floor right now. Let's check it out and see what it shows. 50. So there you go. There's one with a pretty high floor. I think that's the highest floor I've seen for a neighborhood so far. Glen Oaks. I haven't checked all of them, obviously. I'm sure. I wonder what other. There was another one. Was it Cypress Hills? That seemed pretty pricey and was all minted out. What's going on? Is that in Brooklyn? Is that why? Maybe that's why it's all minted out. Maybe that's in Brooklyn. That's in Brooklyn. That's why. Okay. I'm like, man, this one minted out fast. That's because it's in Brooklyn. I think that's the border right there. Okay, so then I bought, yeah, just some cheap stuff in a few different neighborhoods along here. And then just looking here as I talk, Corona. Wonder if there's cheap, what this area looks like. It's got kind of a cool name. FSA is available for cheap. Most of the other properties are all minted. So let's check the floor there. Oh, 58. Not bad. You can still buy some cheap stuff there. Okay. And then what I also did, finally, was... Yeah, I bought some more cheaper stuff in Flushing. Just went up to College Point, because College Point's kind of cool. And there's some other interesting areas, just, you know, up along the water, Whitestone, Bay Terrace. Like, I wonder if some of these are very popular or not. I haven't been on the Discord to really get an idea of that. Sorry, not doing my research. 13, again, not too crazy for prices. So I just wanted to hear, and there were some very affordable minting properties here too. Still a lot of them, you know, 6,000, and I minted some up here, and you can see there's still a lot available. But that's kind of a cool area, just where it's at and how it looks. To me, again, I've never been there, so I don't know. Maybe it's a horrible area in real life, but that doesn't really matter in Upland as much. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I said, I got so many named properties and so many really cool properties in Detroit. It was slightly disappointing here, but I can't blame Upland. That was my fault for just my strategy, probably being too close to too many other people who had the same idea. And I was saying that, it's kind of crossing my mind beforehand when I was doing that, but that's okay. There's still a lot of properties here. I'm hoping the floor increases here. And then something else I have to think about as well is that you know, they'll announce collections next Wednesday, and so that'll bring a lot of hype before that. So that probably will raise prices up, I'm thinking, hopefully. And then there's also the Thrifty Challenge they'll have after the collections are announced, where you flip your properties and try to make a bunch of money and get a Block Explorer and some Spark if you are in the top 50. So that's something to think about as well, because those Block Explorers are kind of cool. So if I want to sell everything right now and get my you know, my net worth up to 10 million for Spark Week, or do I want to wait until next week and focus on a Thrifty Trader? There's a lot to think about there. So, but I still want to keep trying selling stuff, get my net worth up, and then go from there. And then yeah, let me know how you all did in the release. If you have ideas for a node, let me know. If you have like any of these areas or the prices, it's kind of easier to see now what the mint prices are, what's available for nodes here too. Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, we'll be back with a lot more coming up here soon.